Success, to me, is a pretty broad subject. I think that at its core, it means you decide what you want to do, then you go do it. And that's really kind of the core definition of success. In order to do that, you first have to believe that something's possible. And I talk about this when I do strongman shows. If you don't believe it's possible to do a feat of strength, then it's not going to happen. Then you have to believe that it's possible for you to do it. Because if you look at me and see me bend a piece of steel, or you look at my business and see that I'm growing my business and I'm helping people, and you think, okay, that's great, but that's him, that's not me, and I can't do it because insert lame-ass excuse right here, then it's never going to happen for you, because you have to believe that it's possible for you, not just that it's possible. And then once you believe it's possible for you, then you have to start taking some sort of action towards it. Whether that means educating yourself some way, or just the very act of writing down, I will, and fill in the blank with whatever the thing that you want to do is. That is the first action step that you take toward accomplishing things. Once you determine that you will do it, you'll find a way to get it done. And the next thing you know, instead of writing down, I will do this, you write down, I have done this. My name's Dave Whitley. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. I own a facility called Nashville Kettlebell. I was born and raised in Tennessee. Lived here pretty much all my life. In a very small town, about an hour and a half south of Nashville. Grew up playing football and all that sort of stuff. I got fascinated with strength and all things having to do with strength when I was a kid, because I was a fat kid with a stutter, and kind of withdrew into comic books and that sort of stuff. And when the Incredible Hulk TV show came on when I was a kid, saw Lou Ferrigno on there and realized in my brain that even though it was pretend, that was actually a real guy painted green. And so it became possible in my little child brain to be big and strong, and so that was kind of my initial involvement in anything to do with any sort of physical training. So I got a set of weights for Christmas that same year and started plugging away in my bedroom. In my teens, I started playing music, playing guitar, and wound up doing that for a little while professionally during my 20s. That got to be a bit of a chore and a bit of a job, and went to massage therapy school. Started going back to the gym, and I'd always been kind of in and out of the gym from the time I was a little kid. Wound up reading an article that Pavel wrote for a magazine about kettlebells, and next thing I knew, I was at the RKC and had a very life-changing kind of weekend, that by the end of the first day I knew that I was going to do something that had to do with the RKC and kettlebells and all that sort of stuff, and I just wasn't really sure what. So by the time a couple years have elapsed, I was teaching kettlebells full-time. I was doing it out in a park. I didn't have a facility, I just had equipment that I hauled around in my car, and we ran in the park for 4 years before I wound up moving into this facility. Somewhere along the way, John Duquesne did a promotion for MPE, and I wound up meeting Sean. Just getting to talk to the guy and hang out with the guy, I had an immediate respect for him. I could tell that he had integrity and that he cared about doing the right thing versus just doing it for the money. And unfortunately, in business, that's not always the case with people that you run into, but it's definitely the case with everybody that I've met, from Sean to Camellia to Eric to Dick, everybody in the MPE organization. I've yet to meet anybody, even the clients. Everybody seems like they're there to help each other, to get help, and to just promote a message of positivity and prosperity. One of the really cool things that locked me in and that I really appreciated with Sean is on our first coaching call, we were talking about pricing. I was talking about some of the obstacles that I was running up against with the idea of raising my prices, which is something he strongly encouraged me to do. And he immediately called me out on it, and I didn't even realize that I had set this limitation, or this idea of lack programming up in my own brain regarding the prices. And I had some people that had been around for a very long time that were still paying the same thing they were paying 3 years ago, and Sean encouraged me to raise the rates on those people. And My initial thought, like a lot of people have, is if I raise the rates on them, then they're going to go away. All of them understood that it was a business decision, and being able to separate the business personality from my personality in dealing with people was a huge takeaway from that call. It showed me that Sean knows what he's talking about. It showed me that Sean has a lot of integrity, and that someone that I am excited to work with, not just willing to work with because I know it's going to be good for me, but someone that I'm excited to work with because it opens up new possibilities that I may not have thought of yet. It's perfectly natural to experience fear, particularly of the unknown. And fear is not the enemy. Lack of action is the enemy. If you take a bunch of gazelles that are standing around the watering hole and they sniff and they smell a lion and everybody's afraid and they all run off except one, and the one that was too scared to run gets eaten. The action of running away from the lion, that's fueled by fear, and it's a healthy response for the gazelle. If you just paralyze yourself with fear, though, then you don't accomplish anything. You wind up getting eaten by the lion. I'm not saying run away from things that scare you. I'm saying deal with things that scare you in the appropriate way. The gazelle's going to run from the lion because that's his skill set to deal with lions. It's not as black and white and as obvious as that with us as business people or as entrepreneurs. We run up against stuff all the time that can be quite terrifying, and that's okay. Stuff scares me a lot. You look at a situation and it's a scary situation on an emotional level, but when you learn to take that fear and direct it toward whatever the desired outcome is, that's when you learn to harness an emotion. It's just an emotion. It's just a reaction to something. There are facts in front of you. You're not comfortable with those facts, and you just have to deal with them. If you don't do anything at all, you fail. It's that simple. People ask me how to grow a business or how to develop a business, particularly in the fitness industry. And the first thing I do is I ask them, who's your business coach? What are you doing to work on developing the business end of your fitness business? And if they tell me that they don't have a coach, then I ask them, why the hell not? Because if they're selling training services or they're selling coaching services, then they're selling something they don't believe in if they're not willing to hire a coach to teach them how to do something that they don't know how to do. What's the cliche, standing on the shoulders of giants? Go find people who are good at coaching people to build businesses like MPE and do what they say. Just follow the instructions. That's all you have to do. Find somebody who's smarter than you, ask them what to do, and then the most important thing, do it.